Hey guys, so quick video just to talk through how we're kind of looking at running lessons from this point, as in how do I run a lesson and things that I kind of think about. In particular, kind of getting the lesson to run smoothly and ensuring that you've got the right resources at the right place at the right time. So well, I'm going to enter a lesson. I'm actually going to go into one of Raphael's lessons and click join. Now I'm going to click join now. It won't show my camera because I'm streaming a video, but it will highlight a couple of bits and bobs. So when you start a lesson, one of the key things is to make sure that the children have got the resources. You might even want to get the resources in there beforehand so that they know exactly what to do with it. Now I think there's two ways to do that. One is the traditional way of just setting them as a task on Firefly, and the second way is in the lesson chat, which is what I'm going to show you now. You can place the resources to the lesson. So one of the things that I do when I'm running a lesson is when I write to them, I always write to them in bold and in caps. So I might write sort of resources, for this lesson, and then colon, and then Control A, Control B, and then I've emboldened it. And you can do this before. I actually do a lot of this during the lesson. Now, anything that exists on the school server has a permalink attached to it, whether that's a Word document or or something that's on Firefly. And so what you can do there is you can just paste in the Word document that a link to the document that you want them to use or the thing that you want them to access. I'll just demonstrate that. So if I go up to new window, if I go up to if I go onto the VLE, sorry, if I go onto SharePoint and open up a Word document, and we go to Word. So just say I'm in Word and I've created a new document, or let's open something that was open before. So everything in Office has this shared link. And so there you can choose to copy the link. You can also change the options so that you can say you can allow editing or not allow editing. This is really good if you'd like to get more than one person working on a bit of work together. And so you can just share a link to the document and place that into the chat. So here this is actually a child's piece of work, so I probably shouldn't share this. Let's find something a little bit more. Okay, here, so this is something that I've just been putting together actually during a lesson, to be honest. So there's share, and then especially the people who can edit, people in Brighton College with the link, and then take the allow editing off, apply, and then copy the link. And then here, so the link's copied, I can now go over to Teams, and I've put a colon there. I wonder whether I could even just hyperlink it. Let's try that. Control K. Yes, I can. So I press down Control and K, and I can paste the link into the description. You might even want to, make it really obvious. Put a little enter there, and send over there. And so that's kind of quite obvious. Now by placing it bold, placing a greater than sign, putting a link to it, and I did that with Control K, it's made it really obvious that that's something that's going on in the lesson. I also, during the lesson, I post questions in capitals and in bold in the chat, and they know that draws a line under one part of the lesson. Now they start talking about the next section. The other thing that I do to keep them kind of on task and keep the pace up and running is, I'm just going to delete this because I don't want my sixth form to see it. Delete. The other thing I do to keep them kind of on task is I use a thing called Classroom Screen. So what I'll do is I'll go through and I will share my desktop, and I will share the specific the specific. I won't share all windows. I'll just share one window in Chrome. So here I'm just sharing this one window here. Let's close down these and kind of. And so in here, I'll pop open this thing called Classroom Screen. Which is great because it runs in your browser and it doesn't require anything going back and forth to the server. So once you've got it open, it's yours. And then I'll drop on a timer and I'll pop that in the middle, and I'll set the pace on that. Maybe I'll even say when you hear this sound, you need to stop. Now, these sounds are deliberately loud and annoying, and it kind of really does bring the class together. The second thing that I might do is I might play some music in the background. Now, the way to do this so that the children don't see the music that you're playing in the background is to create a new window to do that. So if you right click on the taskbar and then go create a new window or open a new window, then at this point, if you look, I've got this window open, but because I only shared one part of the window, I've still got the timer in the shared screen here. In the shared screen here, ticking over, and so that's really useful. There's also loads of lovely stuff on this before I get sort of further distracted. So you can write up the task. If you really want to grab their attention, you can say, like, answer the question in the meeting chat, for example. And that will allow you to, will kind of scaffold your way through the lesson, explaining to them what they need to do. There's also lovely things in here like traffic lights. So you'll say, right guys, if the red symbol's on, that means I want you all to mute your mics. So you can flip through the traffic lights. You can place a clock for the room, so that's the time of the day. You can also pull out a random name, so you can upload your pupils' names in the class from a text file and then generate a random name to ask questions, which is another one of those assessment for learning strategies with the, remember they used to put them on the lollipop sticks and pull them out. And so I think these are all really useful. I also really like the fact that you can change the background, and some of the backgrounds, these ones that say GIF, are animated, which are lovely, so you can have like a really pleasant forest going on. Yeah, okay, so I've gone through the sort of the bits and bobs. Oh, and then finally the playing of music in the background. Because I'm only showing my one window, I can be getting on with other stuff. So if I want to take the register, I'm going to do that in this window. If I want to maybe play a song in YouTube, then you can do it in this window. And so basically having two windows open, one which is the screen, the thing that you want them to see, and another window for doing your other tasks, and not sharing the whole desktop, but just sharing one window. Really, really useful. So to kind of summate all of the things that I've talked to you about there. One, share the resources, ideally before the lesson. Now you might do that as a task if you're very organised, or you might go into the meeting before the lesson started and place a few links in the meeting chat ready for them. The second way to do it is just do it during the lesson with a just quick cut and paste across. That's fine. Remember that you can insert hyperlinks into the meeting chat by typing some text in the meeting chat, highlighting it, and then holding the buttons Control and K, and that will allow you to place the link in there. And then finally, I've shown you how I've used this thing called Classroom Screen. So Classroom Screen, that's just a separate website, but it allows you to have timers, traffic lights, placing text on the screen. You can even draw stuff, and also to have random names for questions. And then finally, not sharing the whole desktop, but sharing a single instance of Chrome, and then having a separate instance of Chrome, which allows you to do stuff like play music, which can kind of, I sometimes play the countdown timer. I also play like little sound clips to keep them engaged. And also when I do the register, I do that in a separate instance of Chrome, not on my phone. I find it a little bit more reliable and flexible to use the desktop. Cool. So hopefully I've given you some food for thought and some ways that you can engage the children a little bit more in lessons. What the final thing I'd ask for you, if you've got any tips in terms of, you know, keeping your lessons running smoothly and really organised, then let me know.